I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Not really.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you—
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
Dry
All
it.
it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Could it have been... Makoto, why are you answering this?
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
Like,
You catch on
why
quick.
are you answering something that's
You're
gonna...
right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got
Yo, dirt
dirty,
pattern, can you help
because
me out
that's
real
the
quick?
side that got
Thanks,
covered
bro.
in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why
No.
would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Honestly, she's kind of freaking rude. Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that. The tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, tarp must have been touched the body, right? Why wasn't it dirty? But the body.
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
Can't worry about Kyoko's stupidness. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Wait. Do I actually get to refute Kyoko for once and not just have her be the freaking smart 100 the whole game?
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
Hold up. Is that the first time Makoto's talked in a non-stop debate? I think so.
Right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
I actually don't know what it is. There has to be a clue hidden in the tarp somewhere.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
I didn't think that was right,
Shoot!
but I don't know what it is.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Too bad.
Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
By covering the killer prevents.
So the
Reason the tarp was only dirty
is because the spring, but the underside of it was totally spotless.
because that side was protected from the water.
Shoot!
By covering the killer prevents.
So the reason that was because the spring, but the underside, it was totally. It's because that side, since it was facing.
Of course it didn't get dirty.
Please. Frick. I don't know what it is.
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp. The killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp... It was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the of course it didn't get dirty!
Let's freaking
No,
go.
it's wrong. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the
True.
blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh?
What if,
Blood was camouflage?
after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinkler, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I don't know, Kyoko, you're kind of thinking a little too
I know!
elaborate.
They could have
Makes you a
grabbed some of the
little-
blood packs from the
makes you a
nurse's
little
office.
suspicious.
That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Which must mean, hate to say it, but Hope's Peak's finest chicken nuggies they have.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But
Rest in
after
peace,
the murder,
Leftmost chicken.
there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
True.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
Okay, quick question though. Okay, I'm gonna change it to default. I need to see. Who the frickin' crap?
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe. But still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining
Bro,
hall,
let my boy
did you
Makoto
two stay
talk.
together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
Suspicion falls back on me, but why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand.
Well then, looks
Huh?
like we're back to square one.
Getting a truth bullet in the middle of a freaking glass jar?
Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
Okay, so, why did none of them comment on the fact that they're in like a pink freaking candy funhouse room?
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
True.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Knife. You take the knife, Makoto.
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
I couldn't be sure of what happened. I thought maybe I really did kill him.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. What is it? Oh. Bullet time. Not bullet time. Non-stop.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once? That automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question.
Oh, frick. Okay, wait. Is Monokuma file one of them?
You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
Stab.
Horrible man you are, Makoto. The knife we found lodged... Lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
I don't know.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Shoot!
Frick.
The knife we found, it's the same one. It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that seals it. Just because I had the knife, that automatically...
Well,
Getting stabbed is what killed her.
right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto. The knife we found lodged.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
There's no way that's freaking right. Yeah.
Shoot!
The knife we found lodged in the.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that knife before, that seals it. Look, just because I had the knife, that automatically makes...
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her,
What
right?
if I just shoot getting stabbed?
So there's
they
no.
getting
You took
stabbed?
that knife.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Like, what happens then?
The knife we found. It's the same one. It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that seals it. Just because I had the knife, that automatically...
Well,
Getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Okay, yeah, I kinda...
Shoot!
The knife we found lodged in the.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it.
Makoto did it! Just because I had the knife, that automatically...
well,
Getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
I'm going to freaking die.
The knife we found.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that seals it. Just because I had that automatically...
well,
Getting stabbed is...
Let's freaking go.
No, it's wrong!
That's a moment.
Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her!
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
There's no way that's possible because... I don't know. Knife of the crime scene, there's no blood. Frick!
Shoot!
Well, I freaking died.
I refuse to give up yet!
Bruh, how far back is it gonna put me? Okay. The Monokuma file?
I got it!
It was the freaking
The
Monokuma.
Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer.
Oh yeah, oh.
They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but... what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
Explosion? That's a weird way of pronouncing airline food. You see the joke?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
See, even Byakuya knows she just
Well, if
no
you're
brain.
so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic-level spontaneous combustion!
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
Okay. The explosion was because of the bomb.
A gun! After
That's-
the explosion,
That
we found
much
a
should have been
tiny
simple to
fragment
start. But did Byakuya say tell him, Makoto?
of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
Yeah.
That's only natural. Because, of course,
That's a natural reaction to have, because... you have...
we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma.
Toko's face! I didn't even notice Toko's streaking face, but it's amazing.
It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Yeah, what is the problem, Makoto? Literally, if it's not you, and you know it's not you.
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Oh. 3?
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Is that it? Frick. Wait, was there even? I don't think it said that on the Monokuma file even. Oh.
And shall we continue?
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
I think it might
The
be
explosion didn't
Georgia.
kill-
Well, yeah.
Actually, probably
she
not.
was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then
Oh,
there's only
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she
I
was
think
hit
it's
on the back of her head.
absorb that.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Oh, wait, frick.
Then, shall we continue the debate?
Okay,
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
I know. I think I know what it is.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't then.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. And more than that, the victim
Had suffered countless wounds.
Across her
Okay.
entire body.
Here's my theory.
Then, shall we continue? The victim's
Fatal injury has yet
to be determined, correct?
Frick. What is it? Okay.
Then, shall we
continue the
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
The explosion didn't kill.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't then.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was... And more than that, the victim
had suffered countless wounds.
Across her entire body.
What the frick is it?
Shoot!
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Exploded body?
Or
I don't know.
I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Okay, freaking crap. Hold up. I'm gonna get a quick snack. Guess what I ate? Surprise, surprise. More freaking coconuts. Okay. I have an idea.
Then shall we continue? The victim's fatal...
The explosion didn't
Because I
kill.
don't think I've tried
yeah.
And it wasn't then.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
That's gotta be...
Be it. There was evidence that
Showed she was hit on... And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her Then shall we continue?
The victim's fatal injury.
injury has yet to be.
Boom. Let's freaking go.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
Yep.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
You just gotta be very gentle.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
Okay.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
No.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto.
I knew you were gonna
Surely
say
you've
that.
deduced the real murder weapon?
Alright, the real murder weapon. It was the titanium arrows.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. Is that a mosquito bite? Frick. Alright. Okay, Monokuma's account. What is his account?
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no
pretty sure I
doubt
know what it is.
that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Hold up. Frick! Oh my god.
Talking back to mask, you have no right!
The titanium arrow.
It was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound.
Well, it said the weapon must. It seems like an arrow would just.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
Not if you
it's
tape them together.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
The
Another weapon?
duct tape.
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
You know it is.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Wow.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all. Remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence. What's the freaking key?
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
It was in your room, noob.
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle.
Man, Kyoko's voice acting though, that was top notch.
Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime.
Byakuya's legendary voice acting.
This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a
Right.
second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last
yeah.
night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
What?
She was protecting me. Like freaking crap she was. She just miraculously knew someone was attacking me at a random point during the night when Kyoko just, you know, was like, yeah, someone's probably attacking him through his soundproof freaking doors. Let me just pop in real quick, give it a look-see. Just like pop into his freaking door that he still doesn't lock.
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Oh yeah, she killed someone from me?
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
True.
I should know.
What? Byakuya should know. What does that mean? Okay, I know what she's talking about. Just gotta read Byakuya's account real quick. Yeah, it's not that.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just...
Exactly. I'm not the. You should understand.
Byakuya!
Master would never.
There's proof.
That you aren't the culprit.
No,
Heck yeah.
that's wrong.
Because Byakuya had the key.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Huh? Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
That's not true. There's a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Does she really feel that threatened? Or is it something else? Or is there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me, we'll never figure out the mystery. This is a trap. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko, but what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... Mastermind's trap. The victim was Mukuro, and Kyoko killed her. What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lying? I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it, but who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to be cringe, you'll end up Reddit. What do I do? I have to decide right here and now. Yeah, let me expose that for
There was a
Kyoko.
lie hidden within Kyoko's statement just now.
A lie?
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
You said it. The burden of proof is on you, so let's hear it. Where's this lie, then?
Kyoko's lying, and it must be because there's some deeper truth she wants to keep. She's about to get freaking sniped. Okay. So Kyoko's account. Oh!
Didn't have the key to my room because I'd given it to Byakuya.
But the freaking key
There's
that
no
unlocks
doubt about
everything.
that, right?
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
Oops. But you could have died.
No, that's wrong. No, Kyoko could have gotten into her room. You said so yourself, didn't you, Kyoko?
I have a key. I have Monokuma's secret key.
Monokuma's secret tool?
Kyoko stole it from the headmaster's room, which means She could have used it to get into her own room.
Then I guess that's it.
You're giving up just like that? You admit to killing...
No, I'm simply recognizing that I lost.
What are you talking about?
Like I said, this was a trap, and I wasn't able to escape it. So I lost. That's all this means.
Huh? Then, are you saying you really didn't... Kyoko, you really aren't the killer?
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, but your time is up! All done, all finished. The class trial is all over.
But that's ridiculous! Since when is there any...
It's because you were late, so the trial started late and time ran out! So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you! But I guess we already know who the blackened is, don't we?
Welp. Good job, you got it right! Brilliantly right! You got it right? Does that mean Kyoko really is the killer? But something strange is going on. There's something wrong with this whole class trial. Kyoko,
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment!
is everyone ready? Okay then!
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Wow. Wow, really gotta have a nice conversation. One last conversation with the worst character, but still. I feel like she might be able to just, like, leave the desk. Don't know for sure, though. Monokuma funny, Monokuma funny. Bro, what the frick is he teaching? What? Oh, frick. So the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba came to an end. Still had to wonder whether Kyoko was actually innocent, or regardless, the truth was lost forever, even for me. I just stopped thinking about it. That was the end of Mukuro's class trial. And in the end, it would prove to be our last class trial. Once that case was over, there was never a single murder at Hope's Peak ever again. We had obtained peace in exchange for the lives of all the others. What? What? Why is Toko gone? Wait, bruh. Okay. So, you know, like, really early into the series, when Hiro said, him and Makoto would, their children would have the same mother? Well, I'm not saying anything, but no, yeah, yeah, I guess that actually happened. Rip Toko, I guess. Peace, but only inside the school. Peace, but only for us. That was the only hope we had. Hope, 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 hope? This is hope?